The Cobra Mark III, one of the most beloved small ships in the game. However, it has a sister ship, the Cobra Mark IV, which does receive its fair share of hate. So let's look at why. The D2 merch store is open. There are t-shirts, sweaters, hoodies, mugs and tote bags with many cool designs. Head down to the link in the video description and get yourself your merchandise today. Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Elite Dangerous with Down to Earth Astronomy. So the Cobra Mark III, and more specifically the Cobra Mark IV. Well, the Cobra Mark IV, if you haven't ever encountered it in the game, maybe only as NPCs flying around, well, that's because the Cobra Mark IV is the only exclusive ship that has ever been introduced into Elite. You see, you could only get access to the Cobra Mark IV if you bought the Horizon update before February 5th of February 2016 if you play on PC, or I believe it was July 30 on 2016 if you played on Xbox. After that, there's no way to get access to it, and that is one of the reasons why this ship has received so much hate at the time. However, let's dive into the stats of the two ships and see if that hate is justified. Starting out by looking at some base stats for the ship, we can see here that the Cobra Mark IV is significantly more expensive. It's actually more than twice as expensive as the Cobra Mark III. So already there, well, you are paying a definite premium if you want the Mark IV version of the ship. Next up, we have all the core internals, and here I have them listed in the same order as they are appearing in game. So that would be power plant, thrusters, FSD, life support, power distributor, and sensor. And we can see here they are exactly identical. Now moving over to optional internals, this is where we see some of the first major differences between the two ships. The Cobra Mark III has 3 Class 4 slots, 3 Class 2 slots, and 2 Class 1 slots. Whereas on the Cobra Mark III you have 4 Class 4 slots, you have 2 Class 3 slots, which you don't even get on the Mark III version, and then you have 2 Class 2s and 2 Class 1s. So they both have the 2 Class 1s. Basically what you do is you lose a single Class 2 slot on the Mark III, but you gain 2 Class 3s and a Class 4 slot. So you swap a Class 2 for 2 3s and a 4 on the Cobra Mark IV. So it has a significantly better optional internal loadout, allowing it to carry more cargo or fit more armor, or well, in general, whatever you need your internals for. And it's about the same story if you move over to hardpoints. The Cobra Mark III has 2 mediums and 2 small hardpoints, and on the Mark IV you get an additional small hardpoint. But keep in mind, that extra hardpoint doesn't come with a larger power distributor. So the Mark IV will have a tendency to be a little bit more, or feel at least a little bit more power distributor heavy when you're firing weapons if you're using it for combat, because of that extra small slot, especially if you're decided to fit a lot of lasers. When it comes to the utility slots, they both have 2 utility slots, so that's exactly the same. On the hull mass, well, all those extra internals and hardpoints, they do come at a cost, and that is an increased mass. The Cobra Mark III comes in at 180 tons, where the Cobra Mark IV comes in at 210 tons. This is pretty heavy for a small ship. It puts it up in the vicinity of something like a Vulture at 230 tons, I believe, but it's by no means the heaviest small ship. And we have something like the Diamondback Explorer, which I believe is the heaviest small ship at 280 tons, if I recall correctly. All this extra mass, of course, doesn't do anything good for the jump range. The jump ranges I've listed here is if you strip all internals, all weapons, all optionals are stripped out. Everything is kept at its normal size in terms of core internals, but they're all dropped down to D-rated, apart from the frameshift drive, which is A-rated and then engineered for long range and deep charge because it's a Class 4. So this is basically with an engineered FSD and everything else just lightweighted. So this is best case scenarios. Of course, as you begin to fit more modules or better core internals, your jump range will begin to go down. But this is just to make an as close to apples comparisons between the two jump ranges. And as you can see, you do lose a significant amount of jump range on the two ships. It by no means a sluggish ship in terms of jump range, but it's definitely not as good as the Cobra Mark III. Both of the ship has the option for multi-crew with 2 crew seats, one for you of course, and 1 additional crew member on board. So let's move over and have a look at some of the defenses for the two ships. When we look at the base shield value, this is the value that is being modified by the shield generator. If you're interested in how base shield works and how shield is calculated, I have a written guide that goes through it in a lot of details over on the Commander's Toolbox. I will link to it in the description, so you can go down and you can read up into there, and there's like mathematical examples that show how this is all calculated if you're interested in it. But basically, looking at the base shield is the easiest way to kind of make a direct comparison. However, it is not a completely fair comparison because the final shield hit points does depend on the hull mass, so how heavy the ship was. And as we saw, the Mark IV is significantly heavier. But even with the heavier hull mass of the ship, the Cobra Mark IV will still have a significantly better shield simply because of the high increases, like 50% extra base shield on top compared to the Cobra Mark III. The armor hardness of the two ships, exactly the same. Base armor hit points, exactly the same. And the heat capacity is practically the same. The Cobra Mark IV has a slightly higher heat capacity than the Cobra Mark III, but we have to remember that, again, the Mark IV has an extra weapon slot, which will generate extra heat when fired. And with that extra weapon slot and all those extra internal slots, there's a good chance that you will have to fit a higher power plant, or you're forced to go with more overcharged on it. So overall, the Cobra Mark IV will often feel a little bit more heated than the Cobra Mark III, not as heat efficient at least as the Cobra Mark III, simply because of the additional fittings you will have a tendency to put on the ship. And if we move over to the maneuverability department, it is as we would expect, with the same size engine on both ships, but the Cobra Mark IV being significantly heavier. It is also quite a bit slower than the Cobra Mark III, and the maneuverability in general is also significantly lower, with both roll and pitch being noticeably worse than on the Cobra Mark III. So to sum this up, what you basically get in a Cobra Mark IV compared to a Mark III is a heavier and slower version with better shields, more internals, better weapons. So the Cobra Mark IV is essentially a more combat-focused and less multi-purpose utility-focused ship compared to the Cobra Mark III. But if you are looking for a small combat-focused ship, don't feel left out. There are plenty of other good options available. For instance, I could mention something like the Vulture, which both have higher firepower, better shields, better armor. Even though it is also a lot more expensive, well, it is definitely a very capable combat ship. I hope you liked this video. If you want to see more ship comparisons, then let me know in the comment section down below which you want to see. Thanks a lot for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a like, subscribe, and until next time, I'll see you guys in space.